Overdoses are still a problem in the capital region. There's an organization here that's trying to help young people, but we'll begin talking about the school year. Roll it, Kyle. All the buses are rolling and the kiddos are back off to school. It's a great time of the year, and let's talk about it with Adonica Duggan, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. It's a great organization here that is very education forward, parents, students, the whole shooting match. The year has started, AD, and it's a good time, right?
It's a great time. It's full of promise.
Well, let's start by talking about priorities for this year. As you look at this school year, what are some of the things you hope are accomplished by year's end?
You know, I think our priorities are the same every year. We hope that our students are being prepared for successful futures. And so what that looks like is really addressing the literacy challenges that we're seeing across our state. The recent test scores are cause for alarm. We should really be focused in on how we can better serve the needs of kids around literacy this school year.
Yeah, it's an issue, especially in poor communities. The number of children who are either not in the school at all because of the truancy rates or who are not reading at grade level. Now, this obviously is something that's a nationwide issue, but specifically here, it doesn't seem like we're gaining as much real estate as we would all be comfortable with.
You know, attendance rates around the country are really, staggering right now.
Yeah.
I think post-pandemic, we're seeing students not be in school. We're also seeing challenges around educator quality. I think the district did some great things in EBR around raising the pay scale for educators and providing them with additional compensation, but we really have people leaving the teacher workforce. And so while students are not in school, when they are in school, they're not in front of high quality educators, and we're seeing that in test scores.
It's so interesting. I was recently in Caddo Parish, and the similarities between EBR and Caddo, I was telling you off air, so they're just really, it's amazing to watch. But they, like here, have a teacher shortage.
Yeah.
And it's a national issue too. So, how do you fix that? Obviously, more money is an easy answer, but next to that, what else do you do?
I think cultivating a pipeline, listening to educators, and really understanding what the challenges that they're facing in the school building.
Right.
We recently did our Baton Rouge Youth Voice Initiative, and so listening to students. I think the same thing needs to happen around educators, listening to what's causing them to leave the profession. Why are we losing some of our best and brightest to other professions, and really to burnout. I think more compensation is always great, but I think there are other issues at play that they're not feeling supported, they're not feeling like they're able to make the difference in the classrooms that they would like to be.
What does accountability look like to you for the year, for the school system, for the superintendent, for teachers, for everyone, the board? What does it look like?
I think for the community, I think we should all be accountable to ensuring that our students are better served, right? And so I think in terms of test scores, in terms of attendance rates, in terms of how we are making sure that we are on track every day, that we have kids in classrooms, that we're being intentional, that we're wrapping the supports around the kids who need it most. I think we have a challenge in this community that we have served some students really well, and then we have other students who continue to get the short end of the stick. And
why is that?
You want me to unpack what's happened over the course of the last 60 years in education in Baton Rouge?
It's amazing. It amazes me that we don't see that is at the root of a lot of our problems. I mean, seriously, it just is.
As a city, you've heard me say this before, as a city we cannot begin to address so many of the issues that we're facing if we don't address the fact that we are not serving so many of our children in the way that they deserve.
Yeah.
And we can't fix things like crime, we can't fix things like our workforce and talent pipeline, we can't attract new businesses here, we can't provide quality of life for people who are currently living in poverty if we can't fix the challenges in our education system at Baton Rouge.
The board elections are coming up this fall. I know the Alliance is on the front lines. What are your thoughts, hopes for this election cycle for the school board?
Yeah, I think the hope for the school board is that amazing people will give us 4 years of their lives for the kids in this city. And I think that they will bring to the conversation the things that we should be talking about, which are student performance. And I think looking for the caliber of people who can set aside their differences and really work together on behalf of all children in our city and hold themselves accountable for real outcomes for kids.
You know, one of the things, and I got about a minute here, you guys have been seen as mavericks in the education environment there.
I love the descriptors, right? I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah. So what's the main thing you hope Alliance accomplishes?
I hope that we focus people's attention on the real issues in education in our city. I think, you know, you often hear a lot of national stuff trickle down into the conversation, but this is really about, are we preparing children for the lives that we want for them and to be their best citizen, their best selves as citizens in Baton Rouge?
Look up the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. They do great work here, and she is indeed a maverick. Don't let her fool you. Up next, let's talk about the overdose crisis we have here in the region and around the country. We'll talk with the great Tonja Miles next. Oh, she's one of my favorite people here in Baton Rouge. Tonja Miles has been in the community, in the trenches for so long, back on the show again. And, you know, unfortunately, we're not here to talk about a very happy topic. It's the percentage of overdoses happening. I mean, we see it across the country. It's bad here. And you have been really on the front lines of this work right now. So let's give people, now we've got some numbers I want to show you on the screen here about how bad it is, overdose deaths in East Baton Rouge Parish. As of the 8th of this month, 184. Think about that. Nearly a 6% increase to last year around this time. Non-fatal overdoses as of the 7th of this month, 877, a near 10% increase over last year. And of all of the overdose deaths in 2021, 93% are due to opioids. So I was in the room with you and a number of leaders several weeks ago, and you gave this impassioned plea to people to get involved, to help support the effort to get this stuff off the street. How is that going now?
You know what, it's going good, but we're really getting ready to ramp up in September, and I'm super excited about that.
Okay.
Those numbers that you just showed are startling, but those are also people. That's 187 people who had hopes and dreams, who lost their lives to fentanyl overdose, and over 177 people non-fatal. And, you know, there's a win in that non-fatal part. We'll talk about that later. But, you know, those numbers are alarming, but we wake up every day to eradicate that, to decrease those numbers. And we are seeing some signs of improvement, but we still have a long way to go, and that's why we need all the community partners coming together, because this not just affects, you know, individuals and families, but it affects everyone in our city and our country.
It's so interesting listening to you, and the coroner was in the room, and y'all talked about the number of people who are overdosing who aren't intending to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for people who didn't catch our last conversation, let's give them perspective on that.
So yeah, you know, people use drugs for a lot of different reasons, recreation, and some people, you know, are hooked to drugs, and so we can call drugs a disease, and we can also call it a disease. That's why we want to get to the root cause of why people use. But at the end of the day, people are trying to get high, not die.
Right.
And they do not know that there's fentanyl in their drugs. I mean, at one time it used to be opioids. Now we're seeing fentanyl in marijuana and pills. It's in gummies. It's all over the place.
In gummies?
In gummies. It's sitting on counters in people's houses, and their kids are ingesting it. So we really have to do better about getting the word out, because at the end of the day, ain't nobody safe. Everything is potentially being laced with fentanyl.
So you guys talked about this, the people who are lacing these other drugs with fentanyl.
Yeah.
And really dealing with them and punishing them in a different way. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely, because they know that what they're doing is killing people, and to me that's a crime, that's murder, and they need to be held accountable according to the law. And I'm so glad that we're doing something about that. We partnered with Crime Stoppers not too long ago, and we seeded the first $1,500 to say, look, back in the day we used to have this thing turned into a dealer. Well, let's do that, because I think I told you I talked to a guy who was dealing drugs, and he said, he didn't care, because for every 2 people that die, 5 more would pick up, and it wouldn't affect his bottom line. And so to me, that's careless, that's just horrible, and so people like that need to be dealt with. So, I'm a military girl, as you know, so we're looking at this at several different, approaches. How do we actually get the help and the hope to people who are using, who are addicted to drugs? But then also, what do we do on the law enforcement side and on the community side to get people aware? Look, we know that school is about to start, and a lot of students use recreational drugs. And I tell people, you might not want to use marijuana. If you didn't grow it or buy it from a dispensary and you don't have a recommendation, you might not want to use it, because everything is potentially being laced with fentanyl.
It's so interesting how many young people are using drugs as an escape from their lives.
Yeah.
It's really tragic, and you see it, and some of these kids are dying who just want to get high and escape their lives. I mean, what is that like? What this pressure that these kids are under?
You know what? I mean, we're talking about post-COVID. Their lives were really changed. I mean, it was in school, virtual learning, things of that nature, and we're seeing an increase, in high school and on college campuses. I mean, if you look in the news, when there was a big increase where kids went on spring break, there was overdoses happen. So we have to get the word out that we have to be safe. We have to let our children know, look, we have to have conversations with our kids. Don't take it. If somebody give you a piece of gum, do not take it. A gummy, do not take it. Water, do not take it, because at this rate.
It's so interesting. Obviously, the obvious thing people would say is just don't use drugs, and you don't have that to be bothered with. You won't overdose if you don't use drugs, and that's true. However, in the reality we live in, there's an increasing number of younger people who are using these drugs and using gateways to get to these stronger drugs. I got about 30 seconds here, and I want to start this, and then we'll come back. You know what? No, we won't do that, because I don't want to get you started. I want to be able to have you finish your thought. So we're talking with Tonja Miles about this overdose and drug epidemic going on in our community. And in our segment after the next one, Aishala Burgess is the Executive Director of Truce. She'll be here to talk about the work that they are doing in our community. Back with Tonja Miles in just a moment. Many of you may not even know or remember that this lady several years ago was highlighted during a State of the Union address by then President Bush. That was the first time you hit my radar, and we talked not long after that. I was doing radio at the time, and just an amazing person here in the community. What motivates you to do this work?
I wake up every day on a mission to push hope. I've been in recovery for over 38 years, and so I understand the impact what addiction does to a person and their family and to a community. And so because I have this many birthdays and most people didn't think I lived to be 18, I'm on a mission. And so, I'm just super excited. unfortunately, I get to do this work. And so
Yeah.
people are really struggling right now. Addiction is real, mental health is real. And so we have to let people know there's hope, but then there's also resources. And look, it doesn't discriminate. You and I've talked about this before, from the curbside to the country club. Our kids are suffering, and I believe when we deal with individuals and our families, that what makes our community strong and our country. And so we have to get to the root cause of why people use, get them the help that they need and the resources, and make sure that people know that, there's hope.
Uh, it's interesting. Do you find the support is here for what you're doing?
You know what? It is. Unfortunately, it's a challenge. Most people don't want to, give to people who use drugs because they think it's a moral issue, which, I beg to differ, and will I'm not going to say fight, but I will debate them at any day. And so people use for different reasons. Your brain is hijacked, when you start using, like you said, gateway, and then it gets something else. And so we want to make sure that the resources that are here in our city, people know about them, because they're good resources. We just have to make sure that people know where they are, what number to call, and how to reach out. And look, and to reduce the stigma, because a lot of people, there's a shame that comes with, I'm an addict, and so we want people to know that they're not alone, and it affects anyone, but there is hope and help.
It's so interesting to me, the attitude people have about things like this. I do think it's a sickness.
Sure.
And should be treated like any other sickness.
Yes.
And the average person who's addicted to drugs or alcohol can't turn that off. They don't have the capacity to turn it off.
Yeah.
And many of them would if they could, but they can't.
Right.
How do we change that perspective for people? Because we're talking more about mental health more openly than we ever have. How do we make the same happen for drug addiction and any addiction?
Yeah. Well, we have to have these conversations like this. Thank you for always talking about things that are relevant in our community and country. So having conversations like this, making sure people know that there's hope, there's help, and there's healing. Look, I use my lived experience to let people know if I can do it, they can do it. If I can go from the crack house to the White House, so can they. And
you literally did that.
Literally did that. And look, I'll be at the Bush Library next month, and we're going to be celebrating some things. I'll tell you about that later with President Bush. I'm actually in the Bush Library. I mean, how cool is that? That's really cool. And if I could do it, other people can do it. So we need to let people know that there's hope, that addiction is real. I did this video, and I talked about Heath Ledger and Bobby Christine and Whitney Houston and Elvis and Marilyn Monroe and Jimi Hendrix. They all OD'd. It wasn't fentanyl, but we all go, oh my goodness, oh my God, poor Marilyn, poor Judy Garland. But then we see these people in our community, and we just act like they're addicts and they don't care, but that's someone's child.
Isn't that something?
And they had dreams and hope like we do.
How can people support what you do? And I do mean money and volunteerism, so how can they support
Yeah,
you?
well, they can go to whenyourreadybr.com. All the information is there if you want to give. We're a nonprofit that, we make sure the money goes to the people that needs it the most. And of course, we always need volunteers. And look, there's a lot of people who family members suffer from addiction, or people that are in recovery. We would be honored if they would come and help us, spread this message of hope. And we want to reduce that number, and we don't want to, by this time we have this conversation next year, those numbers, we're going to see a decrease. I believe it.
I think our community is better because of people like you, because there's so many people who are on the front lines of conversation. They just talk. And then there are people like you who are actually doing something to fix what's going on. So I appreciate you, sis, for that. That's awesome.
Thank you, brother.
All right, Aishala Burgess is going to be with us next to talk about the work at Truce. And listen, I'm serious. Y'all support Tonja. If you can write a check, do it. Let's fix this situation. Back in just a moment.
Thank
So we talk a lot about people being in the trenches. This lady is doing it. She is the executive director of Truce, a nonprofit organization that works here in the community with young people. It's done some fantastic things, everything from getting jobs for young people to even getting some kids who might not have graduated out of high school. She's also an assistant district attorney here under Hiller Moore. Aishala Burgess, so let's begin by talking about Truce for people who may not have heard if they've been living under a rock. What is Truce?
So Truce is a nonprofit. We help young people 14 to 24 that may be involved in groups or gangs in our city. They're on probation or parole, or maybe it's a young person that dropped out of school. So we have 2 full-time social workers that work directly with each client. And our goal is just to make sure that they are equipped with the necessities to live a very safe and productive life. So what we pay for TWIC cards, we Uber them to and from medical appointments or criminal proceedings. Not only do we serve that young person, but we serve that entire family by providing school uniforms, work uniforms, any type of identifications that they may need. So anything that we can do, making sure they receive the necessary referrals for mental health and substance abuse treatment. So that's our main goal as it relates to our youth in the community, to make sure that whatever barrier is stopping them from living a very safe and productive life, that we're there to eliminate that.
So, you know, I had this conversation yesterday, and I think you can speak to this, and I know people often wonder why I like highlighting organizations like Truce and the work that we do here. You pick up the newspaper, you hear about crime, the murders, everything that goes on. If you don't address root causes, it will never change.
Correct. Correct.
And it's like, I don't understand how people don't see that. If you don't address root causes, the crime will continue. That's why it's happening on Bluebonnet and in the mall and all around the city, because the root causes don't get addressed.
And
let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
So let's talk about why it's important to catch these kids so young and hopefully divert them to something positive versus letting them stay in environments that create criminals.
Right. So for us, our goal is to catch them as early as we can. And sometimes we're feeling like, oh my gosh, maybe we need to catch them a little earlier. Because what we've noticed is that if you give them just a little bit of hope, a little bit to change that thought process, to change that mindset, that we can divert them from that criminal activity. But the key also is to make sure that we're working in the family, because if I can just change that young person, but we're sending them back into that same environment, then sometimes we're almost defeating that purpose. So our goal is to make sure that we equip everything in that child's close circle with the necessities to do something different. Is the most successful thing that we're doing at this time.
So I sit on the board of Truce. Jeff LaDuff, former police chief, chairs the board, and there have been some significant wins. I remember a couple years ago, we had a dinner at Dozy Place, not very far from where we are right now, with some young people who graduated high school who were really on the line.
Right.
And they graduated, and they were going on to do something. That was one of the best evenings I've ever spent listening to those young people. Talk about that, when you see them actually figure it out and choose to be something other than violence.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because one of the young people that we worked with, he came back. That young man came back last year to see if we were still at Terra High School, to say, we need to make sure that this program is in the school, that you keep it, because this is what changed my life. This is what saved me from the streets, because we were able to provide him with those necessary tools, provide speakers to come in like yourself, like Chief LaDuff, other entrepreneurs, College Temple, to talk about financial literacy, just pour things into the life of that young person that would change their whole course and outlook. And so I'm so glad you brought up those, because that was game changing for them to be able to interact with other business leaders like yourself in the community and have those conversations that they otherwise would not, because I think we take for granted that everyone is exposed to the same thing. And if they don't see it, then they don't believe that they can be it. And I think that's the most important key.
You know, we talked before we came on to the segment. I got about a minute here. Why should businesses support Truce financially? Because I think they should. I know they should, but why should they? What's the return on investment?
The return on investment is that our goal is to make sure that a young person walks away from the life of violence. And if we're not investing into our young people, if we're not giving them a second opportunity, if we're not pouring into our young people, then we're going to get that same return. And I think our business owners is so key for you all to invest in our young people, invest in our program, because we cannot do this work without that financial back. And it costs money to invest in our youth educationally and on the workforce development side.
Quickly, 15 seconds, where can people learn more about Truce?
At www.callittrucebr.com.
Aishala Burgess, AB's a rock star. She's doing great work. When's the next canvas? When are you out in the community again?
Well, we're looking to be out in the community again September, October, but pay attention to our social media pages for that update.
Yeah, because it's fish grease hot outside,
Yeah.
so we'll pick a less hot afternoon. All right, you guys, have a great weekend. Football season's on the way. I cannot wait for it. Catch you next week right here on the Clay Young Show on WBRZ Plus.